Hello everyone. The second practice problem and the answer to it is here on this spreadsheet. We have a landfill situation where we're going to self-construct the landfill. So the first thing we need to apply is the concept of capitalized interest because this is a self-constructed asset. So we're going to spend on February 1st 1.2 million, May 1st 700,000, September 30th 1.5 million, and 2.3 million on November 30th. So that means that we're going to owe the 1.2 million for 92% or 11/12 of the year. We're going to owe the 700,000 for 8/12, the remainder of the year from May 1st to the end of the year. Now 1.5 million for September 30th, so October, November, December, 3/12, and finally the last one for this 1 month of the year. So if we multiply the actual amount spent by those parts of the year, we get these calculations, which we add up to get the weighted average expenditures for this building. Now it costs 5.7 million, but the weighted average is only 2,133,333. All right. So that's what we use to calculate the avoidable interest. So we look at the loans next to see what loans we have outstanding. We find that there is a loan for 2 million or a line of credit for 2 million to build this building. So we always use the specific borrowing for the building first. That's 2 million. So that covers 2 million of the weighted average. So we take that, multiply that by the 4%, which was the interest rate on this line of credit or this specific borrowing, and that's 80,000. But our weighted average is more than the 2 million, so the other part of the amount that we would have needed to use of the weighted average, 13333, is at the 5% interest rate, which was the other loan outstanding. So they only had two. They just had the one that we specifically for construction and then one other loan. So we don't have to average this like we might have had to do in other examples. So multiply it by the 5%, we get the 6,700 or so. So our avoidable interest is 86,667 of avoidable interest. We would add that to the asset, debit, asset, credit, interest expense. That means that our asset, before considering any other considerations, is the 5.7 million total spent to build it plus the 86,700 in avoidable interest that we add to as capitalized interest. Then, because it's a landfill, we can't just, it doesn't have salvage value then. In fact, we have to put it back the way it was when we started. Okay, we have to make a park out of it or whatever. That's going to cost us $2 million, but we don't have to pay for that for 40 years. And we use the present value to figure out what the value is today. We could have used the 4% or the 5%, some interest rate that indicates that what this company is normally would pay. You could even average them together to get 4.5. We use 4%. That gives us the ARO of 416. Using this present value formula, using the future value because it's only a one-time thing, not a number, not an amount each year. So we don't use the payment or we put a zero in the payment. Add those together, and that's our total cost of this landfill, which on a 40-year basis is 155,081 per year of depreciation because we calculated depreciation on the total, right? Not only would we be calculating the depreciation on the total, we'd also be calculating interest on the asset retirement obligation, but that was not asked for in the problem necessarily. So after 10 years, our accumulated depreciation would be 10 times the 155,081, 1.5 million. So our carrying amount after 10 years is 4.6 million. The original cost, including the ARO, 6.2 million minus the accumulated depreciation, When we lease this out to someone else for 25 years at $19,500 a month, it would be $5.8 million. It's higher than the carrying value, so there is no impairment. Okay? If that amount was reduced, then we maybe have an impairment. And then we would calculate the future value of that $19,500 per month. The present value of that in the future. So that's what we would calculate if it was impaired, but it was not, so we're done with our problem.